This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Mcfarlane Toys Batgirl figure, part of Mcfarlane Toys digital collection, which we'll get into that in a minute here. I'll probably just be leaving this though under DC Multiverse like I do all of his other DC toys. This Batgirl is Stephanie Brown from the Batgirls comic, at least I believe it is, and she comes with stuff that came with other figures already, so this is a cheap out already. But if we look on the side, we just see where it says Batgirl, Stephanie Brown, Batgirls. Hey, I guess that was a good guess. On the other side, we get this digital code thing, which this is where I have an issue, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. And on the back, we see some artwork of Stephanie Brown as the spoiler Batgirl is how I'm going to refer to this. But let's go ahead and open this sucker up, shall we? Alright, so first up here we get a card for Batgirl, Stephanie Brown version. Batgirl, real name Stephanie Brown. As Batgirl, Stephanie fought crime on her college campus of Gotham University with the help of her own oracle of sorts, computer expert Proxy. Thanks to a grant from Batman, Inc., Batgirl set up shop in her own Batcave-like hideout she called Firewall. Alright, so this was like the grappling hook that came with our regular Batgirl. Well, one of the regular Batgirls, and the one that was Jokerized. Same with the Batarang here, just reuse. So the figure itself does appear to be, at least a lot of it's new sculpting-ish. I think, actually. There might be a lot of reuse from the Cassandra Cain Batgirl figure now that I look at this. Let's see. Yeah, I would definitely say that, well, literally it's the same body up until a point. So the legs are the same up until you get to the footwear. And the, so this is different. That's the same. The torso's the same. The arms are the same up until the gloves. So yeah. This Batgirl is definitely pre-tooled to become this Batgirl. So I just want to throw that one out there right now. So getting past that right away, Stephanie here. Her new parts are, again, her boots, which would be the, I guess, the lower leg and the footwear. So again, the new parts for Stephanie would be her head, her cape / cloak hood, her forearms, and her calves and boots. And I'm sure these boots are probably a retool from something else or reused from something else. The hands appear to be the same as the Batgirl also. So yeah, Stephanie and Cassandra share a ton of parts. So again, just going to say, I'm assuming part of the reason why Cassandra then was designed the way she was to make her usable to become this Batgirl, or the Stephanie Brown Batgirl. That being said, let's go ahead and take a good look at her. Yikes. Ugh. So her cape does not come off, which is the same as the other Batgirl. However, you can pull the hood off, and the neck peg came out of the neck hole instead of out of the head on this one, so that's annoying. But if you want to go ahead and have Stephanie without her hood on, probably the easiest way to do it would be just to take the hood off. There is a wire in the hood also to keep its shape, so that's actually a nice contribution to this figure. She's got a lot of different sculpting here. Oh my gosh. Her ponytail pops out. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. Probably not. So I'll plug it back in there. You can see she's got like one ponytail there and then two pigtails down at the bottom of her hair. So it's kind of funny. And her mask looks like it's almost designed to come off. Almost, but not quite. But it looks like those cheesy ass masks that came out during COVID, where it's like the quote reusable ones where they just run around your ears and stuff. Partially, as you can kind of see from the side there. Actually, I'm going to raise this up a little bit. So there's that. Articulation-wise, shit. Her hair gets caught in everything, apparently. We can spin her head around. Look down, look up-ish. Look over to the side. We can get the down there. Not much of an up on this one, to be honest with you. Arm hinges up that far. That's actually a pretty good hinge there. The butterfly joint actually moves quite a bit on this figure, being both vertically, actually, and horizontally. So that's actually a really well done butterfly joint. We've got the 360 at the bicep, double jointed elbow, which is always a good thing. 360 at the wrist. And remember, with the way Mcfarlane does his wrist joints, you can swap the hand from being a in and out to an up and down just by switching the way it's sitting in the joint itself. Which again, I can't fault him for that practice. Articulation-wise, a lot of these are really good. The only thing that's always missing is a thigh cut that works well, you know? And that's the sad thing with Mcfarlane figures, is that while we've got some great articulation all over, you still limited the poses by not allowing us to move the legs. We do have a boob cut here, so we can spin that all around. It can hinge back a little bit and forward very little. So you're not getting that like inward ab crunch going very well. There is no waist articulation though, just the boob cut. We can kick forward about that far. And her butt gets in the way of the back. And her butt makes a bat symbol, kind of. This is something that really would have been noticeable on the Cassandra Cain Batgirl because it was all black. But when you've got her painted like this, you can definitely see those details better. So we can kick out. We've got a great side kick here going on. Then the crotch there. You know, the closest thing we get to a thigh cut is inside the crotch. And that doesn't give us much movement when the legs are down or in place like that. But it does allow us to kind of kick the legs out like that more. Instead of just straight on, we can go kind of outwards. Which I guess technically is another form of the splits. So we got that. We got that. And we got that, which again, we only get to this point because we can hinge the leg out a bit on that side. So enough about that. We got a double joint in the knee. No boot cut. We do have the hinge here, and we can spin it. And like with the elbows, again, because of the way the jointing is done here, you can swap the joint slightly a bit. So now you've got her looking like she broke her foot. Probably not something you're really going to do a whole lot. And she's also got wires in her cape. Let's go ahead and pull her head off again. See how easy it is to put the hood back on. I have been so used to figures not having cloth goods that I didn't realize that her hood was a cloth. There we go. So yeah, we could also just drop her hood down that way if we wanted. So for this Mcfarlane Digital Toys thing, basically it's an NFT for all intents and purposes. And what a pain in the ass. I was just trying to set it up, since I opened up the package and everything, because you have to scan your box to go to the site to log in or to start your account. Then you have to download the app on your PC or Mac. Then you need to put in the code that came on a separate card, not the Batgirl character card, but just a Mcfarlane digital card. I did that. It said, congratulations, you've redeemed your Batgirl purple, Stephanie Brown, whatever. But I can't view it. I can't see it. So then it has you link to a NFT wallet type thing and all this other shit. And the end result for me at any rate is that nothing is popping up. So their instructions are absolute garbage. So I don't know if it's worth it. I'm certainly not going to go out and buy a bunch of Mcfarlane Toys digital content just to do that, I probably wouldn't even have tried if it wasn't for this review. But all right, so that's the digital part of this, which is, in my opinion, just kind of a joke. However, as far as the figure goes, I think the Stephanie Brown looks really good. Even if it's just a retool of the Cassandra Cain Batgirl, she still looks really good. And I'm not going to complain too much about, reusing those parts like they did. I'm just not as familiar with the Batgirls series as some other people probably are. I started reading it. I read like the first 5 issues and I just didn't enjoy it at all, so I didn't keep going. Which is sad because Stephanie Brown's been one of my favorite characters in the Bat family for a long time. From her start as Spoiler to her like 2 or 3 issues worth of being Robin, and then, absolutely destroyed by DC, and then back again as Spoiler, and finally becoming Batgirl before the New 52, once again erase that. Her Batgirl run of comics, though, I do have them all, and it is one of the best runs of comics I've read in a long time at that point. And nowadays, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't even collect anything from DC anymore, and I barely get anything from Marvel. Almost everything I buy nowadays is either Independence or Transformers and G.I. Joe. That being said, I think this is a great figure. If you have a chance to get her, go for it. She was another one of those really hard to find ones, and I think I got lucky and got the last one on, I think it was GameStop actually that I got this one from. And if you do have the Cassandra Cain Batgirl, she's a great companion piece for that. I guess all they need to do is give us the Barbara Gordon that goes with her for the beginning of the Batgirls series. Come to think of it, when they mentioned Proxy on the back of her card, I think originally that was, as I recall, the person who kind of took over for Barbara Gordon Oracle before they reset to the New 52. But why don't you guys let me know what you think in the comments below, and if this is a character you wanted, and if you got her or not. And what do you think about the Mcfarlane Toys digital thing? I especially want to know if anybody else has an account and if they had as many problems trying to get this to work as I did. Again, I currently cannot look at my purchase. I do wish though, because it doesn't look like Mcfarlane Toys did the original version of Stephanie Brown Batgirl or the Spoiler version, or even, well, definitely not the Robin version, which honestly would have been kind of a cool 4-pack if we got Spoiler, Robin, Batgirl, and then this Batgirl. That would have been an awesome 4-pack to put out there. Anyway, if you enjoyed this review, please feel free to hit that like button, and if you want to watch more of my nonsense in the future, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.